who who is the CEO of Signature Speakers. And it was for 5 weeks. It was a very interactive session. We had a good time together. And after the 5 weeks, I graduated. And after this graduation that I did, we were given a 30 days challenge, a video challenge, which started on January. And so we've been posting videos of the messages or what we really love to talk about. And for me, it was to do with leadership. Because one of the things I also love to do is I love to mentor leaders to, in the marketplaces, to take up their spaces. I feel like there are so many leaders who are not taking up their spaces and are not influencing to change cultures. And the other thing I love to do also is one of the things I did last year was in the month of September, I came up with Come Alive, an initiative to empower women to heal, grow, and come alive to purpose, to fulfill purpose. And it's been going on very well. And so this year I'm also very expectant. And so when this topic came to me, just to kind of break it down a little, I began to ask myself, what do I want to do for this year? When the video challenge came up, 30-day video challenge, which started in January, I had many ideas I wanted to talk about, but what came to me was book reviews. I noticed that I had many books, but I was not reading them. Many of us buy books, stock them, we put them away, but we never read. So this year I was intentional that I will be doing a video on a book each day and being able to share it with connections on LinkedIn and TikTok and the various platforms I'm on. And through this, practically, I was able to now get feedback. A lady told me, why don't you just get a book and just begin to take her through a chapter a day rather than just saying one book. We want to flow with you. And I saw intentionally, based on our topic today, I want to strategize and see how to, first of all, grow myself into the leadership sphere, but also help others, grow alongside, be able to get those books and learn with each other. And so the Transformation Professional Club began last year. We had our anniversary recently, and it's one that connects us as professionals. We realize that many of us are in different disciplines, but we don't have a home. And I believe that even as Coach Samuel is giving his presentation later on, he'll be able to tell us how then do we join. And so I encourage us to be able to be a part of this. I know that as we come together as professionals, we are able then to grow better. Some came, testimonies which I was hearing from TPC, some came when they had no jobs, now they have jobs. Some came at, different levels, of achievement that time. Now they're in scenario positions. Why? Because as you interact, as you're mentored, as you're being coached to where you want to go, then you get to see. So, and then the other thing also which I love about TPC is that whenever we achieve, they repost us, they bring out our visibility out there on the different platforms. And I think we all need that, because sometimes you don't know where your next gig is going to come from. Maybe if you're into entrepreneurship or any other sphere. And so I encourage us to be a part of this TPC. I am part of it. And I believe that by the fact that I even joined the TPC mentorship program, but I will request later on Coach Samuel to be able to do that. So without wasting more time, I want to really keep time this time. I'd like to introduce our presenter, Coach Samuel Ibanda. I know he has been in this sphere for quite a while. He is a coach and a mentor. So Coach Samuel Ibanda, CPA, is an award-winning finance and business coach and a financial management expert working at KPMG East Africa as manager, international advisory. Previously, he worked as partnership finance lead and finance manager at Save the Children International, where he led different finance teams in financial reporting and grant management. Away from his professional life, Samuel is a coach and has found passion in empowering, inspiring, and helping professionals grow in their careers, earn more, and build wealth. Samuel is a founder of Transformational Professional Club, a mentoring community designed for professionals seeking a sense of community, mutual support, and personal growth. Samuel's work has been recognized and featured by various entities, including New Vision Uganda, Monitor Publications, Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, Save the Children, Best Africa in Nigeria, among others. Allow me this evening to welcome our very own Coach Samuel Ibanda to take us through this topic that he has set before us. Over to you, Coach.
Well, thank you so much, Charity, for that introduction. I believe that quite a lot of people that are joining the call, some of those that have been indicated within my profile, those are things that you are really, really aware about. But I also just want to add that Samuel is a family man. I'm married, and I'm also happen to be a father to twins, so I'm a Salongo. I do quite a lot of things. Some of you know me as an accountant. Some people know me as a coach. So there are lots of things. It depends on what version of me that you know me. But I want to say Happy New Year to everyone who has joined the call. We always have those people that do not miss our webinars, and I'm glad to see those names coming through. And to our visitors, if this is your first time being part of our webinars, we want to say welcome. Thank you so much for creating time to, come and start the new year with us. I know that there's a lot that is happening, some anxiety, especially for us that getting into elections, a Uganda community. There could be some people are still recovering from 2025. There are lots of things that are happening, but also we stand with those that could be going through any situations, anything that is disturbing you. I believe that at the end of the session, you will have some, level of, what can I say? You'll be at a point in time where you can try to be positive about whatever might be happening, and believe that everything happens for a reason and it's not the end of the world. And who knows, whatever might not be a good start for you might actually end up to end well. So that is just an encouragement for you, even as we get into this. So before we start, as you know, our topic is, let me just try to share my screen such that we can get into, let the introductions keep on coming through. And thank you so much, Charity, for giving us that good introduction. I believe that we'll be able to learn together. So, yes, transform your 2026. So you get to realize that our name is Transformation Professionals Club. And I love this word transform. Why? Because it embraces the entire journey that growth is not accidental. Growth is progressional. We basically move from one place to another. So having a transformative mind means that you are going to continuously make yourself to believe that whatever you might be going through right now is not the end of everything. It's just whatever is happening could actually be getting you somewhere. You get to realize, I usually give a notion, like, for example, the way a butterfly goes through the journey of being a caterpillar to its formation, to the point when it gains the wings and starts flying. So we are here to see what are some of those practical strategies for your professional, personal, and financial growth. And we're going to learn. I believe that there's one or two things that you pick from here. So if you do not have where to write, I encourage you to just get something to write, because we want to make sure that you do not just come and accumulate knowledge, but it's something that you can take home at the end of the day. So we are so much grateful that you're with us this evening, and thank you so much. So to get into our topic today, which is transform your 2026. So the year has started, and I believe that there's a lot that already has happened for you and maybe your family. But we want to see how can we have the best of the rest of the year? What can we do to ensure that this year does not just leave us the same? So a lot of things usually happen at the start of the year, and sometimes they don't leave us the same. So one of the things I've learned along my journey is that it's very important for us to craft or design the kind of life that we want. So yesterday I posted a poll on LinkedIn asking people whether they still believe in New Year resolutions. And I said I wanted to share my thoughts, but wanted first to hear what people say. So based on the last poll results that I was seeing, about 72 people, 74 people were saying they still believe in New Year's resolutions. And I want to say that there are those that have a different approach. There are those that totally do not believe in New Year's resolutions. Now, I may have some issues with New Year's resolutions, but one of the things that I would say that whenever I'm starting a new year, I've done this as a ritual to go back to evaluate myself, what has happened in the year, to make that reflection. I know it could be just a normal day, a 31st and then 1st, but I try to get down to evaluate and see how has been the year, what has gone through, what has worked well, what has not worked well, what can I do better? All these things are very important, because at the end of the day, you want certain things, especially in the new year, and you're not going to achieve those things by just remaining the same. So here I'm going to share with you some of those thoughts or things that have helped me. So let's start here and say changing years doesn't change your life, your decisions do. So becoming what you want to become at the end of 2026 requires that you make the decision. I'll tell you that if you want to start a business or you want to start applying for jobs, all that comes within you making a decision, say enough is enough. I need to start. I need to stop depending on the salary alone. I need to revamp my CV. I can't be applying and there's no one responding to me. I need to do something. And that is what means by the year changing. You know, for quite a lot of people, you find that they started the year and things are just the same. And the year may end when things are just the same. So what we want to say is, what can you do differently that could actually help you to rest the year in a different way? Make sure that you're not ending the year like it was before. Now, apart from decisions, we also want to reflect and say that when it comes to whatever you want to achieve in there, sorry for the background noise, whatever you want to achieve for the year is not just going to be achieved out of hope, okay? But it's going to be achieved with you getting down to make sure that you have a structure, you have subsystems that are actually going to help you. So one of the things that I also do in addition to what people could call resolutions is saying what is the structure that is actually going to help me achieve the kind of goals that I'm interested in. And this is a key area that I encourage you to make sure that you are undertaking. Now, transformation itself, as we can see here, is not just going to happen in a day. There's a lot that happens. I'll tell you that the way I started the year is not the way I ended the year. And some of the things that I've been able to achieve in my last year are things that I actually started 5 years ago or 10 years ago. So although certain people do not believe in New Year's resolutions, it's very important for you to have a direction. And that's why you see, even if you don't have New Year's resolutions, do you have anything that is actually giving you direction? If you want to go to a certain place, you do not just fall into that place. There is a journey to it. So what is that journey that you should let yourself into? As we can see in the picture here, this is somebody who could be working out to reduce their weight, or they are working out for their fitness. It takes that intentionality to say, I'm now going to start running this number of evenings. I'm going to start posting on LinkedIn. I'm going to start showing up, putting up my hand whenever an opportunity shows up. I'm going to start that community that I need to start, or that project that I need to start. It's about being intentional. Nothing is going to come through accident. Now, as we grow our professional growth, because our topic today is to help us grow our professional growth, personal growth, but also financial growth. As we get into 2026, where we are right now, one of the things that I would say that you should focus on, especially in your professional growth, is skills. There are a number of us who finished school maybe 5, 10 years back, even 20 years back, but we've not added on any skills that we've had. Yes, there are skills that you acquire through at the workplace, but you need to think about what are some of those other skills that I can actually leverage on right now. What is marketable? I think the conversation of artificial intelligence has been so loud in the previous year, 2025, within our ears. What have you done about it? Are you taking, even if it's maybe a video that you found on YouTube, to see how artificial intelligence is affecting your industry? What is that you're actually doing when it comes to your journey? Because at the end of the day, that skill is not just going to be a skill that is relevant to your job. That skill is also a skill that is going to help you create an income. Because at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you're not just coming through to equip yourself skills for the job, but you're thinking about yourself. What else can I do with these skills to bring in an income? Now, there are different reports that will give you some of the marketable skills, but I do believe that you're also seeing some of these things. There's a lot that is evolving. Artificial intelligence is just one of them. We have aspects of sustainability. We have things to do with technology, digital marketing, remote working. There are lots of skills that are now on the market that are needed. Even if it's content creation, which many of you have ran away for a long period of time, but these continue to be key skills that are not just going to elevate you, but are going to elevate your income. Now, I want you to ask yourself, what is actually going to make me valuable? Now, why I speak so much about skills is because quite a lot of us, when we are looking for jobs or we are looking for business, all we want is, I want the new job, or I want to find, I want to start this business. But what kind of value are you selling? Because at the end of the day, what is going to set you apart from other people is not just what you studied. A lot of people reach out to me and say, Samuel, I'm looking for an accounting job. And the first question I ask them, what skills do you have? What can you do? Yours is to ask yourself, what does a person in my caliber right now require to get to the next level? If you're an officer who aspires to grow to become a manager, you need to be asking yourself, what skills are required at the next level of my career? Yes, you want to grow into managerial roles. You have masters, you have you're doing your PhD, but what are some of those skills that you're putting ahead of you? Instead of bargaining and saying, I'm not being promoted and all that, what key skills are you demonstrating? Are you demonstrating leadership skills? Are you demonstrating emotional intelligence skills? I believe that for each step of our lives that we are at in our professional journey, there's a key skill that is needed. Some of these skills are skills that you're finding out in the market, what is really needed. Usually what I do is when a job is advertised, I usually run to the section after the job description, the roles, I run to that section where these are the key skills that are needed. And if I do not have those skills, I work towards equipping myself towards those skills. Now, if you have those skills, even when you're trying to position yourself, you make sure that at least these key skills come through, that you do not just say, I'm applying for this job, but because these key skills have been listed, then you are giving them key attention to make sure that the person who is actually looking for those kind of skills is able to see that. And for skills, we do not just say, I have these skills, because there are things that somebody is actually going to get you into at the interview room, and they're going to see these skills. Skills, you don't just speak for those skills, but these skills are skills that somebody needs to see. So all that is really coming through. So skilling is very important. Look at what are some of those skills that not only are going to benefit you at your workplace, but what are some of those skills that could actually earn you an income? Because at the end of the day, you need the income. All right. So in the comment section, I would love to know what is that one skill that you want to develop this year? Is it public speaking? Charity was just sharing with us shortly there of how she undertook the public speaking skill. And somehow this year, she got an opportunity to MC at her workplace, much likely because somebody saw her share about public speaking. So you see that growth is not accidental. Growth is intentional. Some of the things that you're doing outside your job, people are watching closely because people are on social media, they are looking at your status to see what you're up to. And it is based on those skills that somebody is going to speak about you in a room you're not. I'll tell you that no matter how friendly you could be to somebody, but if you have nothing you bring to the table, even somebody will be afraid to represent you or share about you in that room. So skills is very important for you. Now, I want to go to the aspect of visibility. And as transformers, one of the things that we don't play with is the aspect of visibility. Why? Because visibility is what puts us to the world. They usually say visibility, if you're not visible, it's like you're winking to a girl in the dark. They can't see you. And one of the richest men in the world says that visibility or your personal brand is what people say about you in rooms you're not. It's very, very important for you as an individual to have a visibility strategy for the year. And visibility is around how often am I going to show up online? That is a very first aspect of visibility. How am I going to show up online? Am I just holding an account? If you're part of this session and all you've had, let's say on LinkedIn, is have an account, 2026 needs to be different. Show up often. Not sharing about anything, but showing up often to share value. Value that does not just depict you as somebody who is just a beginner, but value that shows that you know what you are saying. Very important. And if you don't have that value, invest in it. I'm just trying to share some screenshots here of my 2025 visibility. My LinkedIn, I was able to share over 300 posts on LinkedIn in the year. And how was I able to do that? I had a visibility strategy where I told myself every day I need to share something. And this would range from sharing up a lesson that I've learned, either in my day-to-day work, or sharing about a success that has come my way, or sharing about a disappointment, or sharing about anything that I felt that I could actually share. What is that you plan to share? What is your visibility strategy? Because, friends, we are no longer in the other world where it's about your CV. I just shared a screenshot here of somebody who sent me a message and says, "Hi, Samuel," on LinkedIn. We have 2 exciting roles in finance that we think you might potentially be fit, given your impressive profile. Does your profile fit the keyword impressive? What is that is there that will make somebody feel that over there, the millions of Ugandans that could be on LinkedIn, what are some of those things that somebody will see on your profile and feel like you're the person they want to hire? Or you're the person they want to partner with when it comes to a job? Or you're the person whom they want to invite for a speaking engagement? Last year, I had TV appearances on different platforms, on NTV, on NBS, on UBC. What is going to put you to the face of those that are handling the opportunities? I'll give you an example. When I was invited on NTV, somebody who invited me saw my profile on X. They saw what I do on X, and they said, "We think you're the right person to come through and share on this message." I have taken it a mantle to make sure that I'm omnipresent on different platforms, such that those platforms represent me. When it comes to your online visibility, just Google yourself. Google Samuel Ibanda or put Samuel Ibanda and Google yourself and see what does the world talk about you. Much likely when you Google yourself, the results are going to bring your social media platforms, and people are making decisions about you. I was on a part of a recruitment where we had 2 candidates that we were stuck with in terms of judging whom to allow, whom to give the job and whom not to give the job. Do you know what we did? We went to their social media platforms and we got the answer, because we were not just hiring qualifications, we're hiring character. I know you are shy, you don't want to share, you live that life where you call yourself an introvert. I usually tell people I'm an introvert as well, but I show up because I have understood visibility. If there's one thing you need to understand, is the game that is working right now. You see, the CV, you can translate it within AI, but your visibility, your online presence is something that is not going to be judged from the aspect of AI. Somebody will receive your CV, but they will do a due diligence on you to see, are you worth the offer? Very important. I know some of you are afraid of where you work and you're asking yourself, how will they see me? Will they think that something is happening? I want to tell you that you need to invest in your personal brand. And apologetically, you need to invest in your personal brand. Now, some of you also need to invest in their physical brands. Now, what I speak about physical brands, I'll give you an example. In the workplace, know who make the decisions. I'll tell you, there was a time when I needed to grow to the next level, but I was reporting to a boss who would get the reports and share them. So meant that one, I was not in copy of even the sharing of the whatever we had worked on. So I didn't have visibility as an individual. So then I now started to be strategic in meetings, to give ideas, to give recommendations. I made sure that the leaders in the organizations know my name, and they indeed knew my name. That a time when it came that an opportunity showed up, and I showed up into the interview room, they knew that this is the person we've been knowing. They saw potential, and they gave me a leadership position that my boss then was actually holding. So I and my boss now came to the same level. But that wouldn't have happened if I told they were only seeing my boss's results or seeing my results through my boss. You're not fighting your boss. You're basically getting yourself out there, because if no one knows you, means that there's no one who is going to speak about you. Let the people know about your achievements. Sometimes it's about writing down those achievements and making sure that if at all it means you get to a room and explaining what you can do, yes, you do it. I've had cases where I've had to book appointments to have discussions with senior leadership about the things that I'm doing and about what I need for my next level of growth. That's visibility for you. At the workplace, what do people say about you? What is the kind of brand that you have actually created for yourself? Very important. Now, the other thing that I also want to say, especially when it comes to your professional growth, are relationships. This is, if there's a way I would demonstrate this, I don't know. But I'll tell you that, again, the reason why you're actually going to get certain things is probably because somebody knows you, because you've built the relationship. And relationships are not just built in delivering business cards. Relationships are built through trust, through value, and understanding what you can bring to the table, not just what you can take from the table. Every time you get into a networking event, yours should be to ask yourself, what value can I add to this person? Charity, who is moderating this session, joined our public speaking journey, and through her journey, you could see value in the person. And you could see how she builds the relationships, not only just for within the mentees, but also with the mentors. And when we would even think about the person to lead our first session as a host, we thought about her because she has built that. But she didn't come with just, what can I take away from these people? She came with a giving attitude. What value can I add? How can I be part of this? In the picture here was my first year's event for 2025. I got into that room, much like I didn't know a lot of people, but I left that room with opportunities. I left that room with gifts. I left that room with contacts. And I left that room with an elevated brand. Why? Because I showed up, first thing, and I also didn't just sit back. I made sure my presence was felt. I made sure that I left that room not just showing up, but I also try to see how can I help? How can we work together? Asking such questions build relationships and open doors. There are times when I just go on LinkedIn and I'm commenting on people that I want to connect with. Why? Because it's intentional. I will not get to somebody who is a CEO somewhere and I'll tell them I follow your content online and they have never seen a like or a comment on any of their posts. You can't be asking somebody, mentor me, when they have over 5 books they have published and you've never bought any of them or you've never joined any of their programs. But for you, all you want is actually you want to take away from them. And I will tell you, when you send me a message or send any superior person and the first thing you're asking them is for a job or to connect you anywhere, much likely that relationship will not go anywhere. So it's very important for you as an individual to see, how do I develop my network? How do I grow relationships? The reason why I even use the word relationships is because a lot of people have preached your network is your net worth. But let me tell you, it's not just about getting the contact. It's about building the relationships, the check-ins, making sure you understand what is somebody is going through. How can you support coming through for them strategically, not with the mindset again of I need this from them, but sometimes even just showing up without expecting anything. And sometimes you're not just even undermining the people that are around you, because sometimes when you speak about networking or building relationships, we were looking for those that have gone ahead of us. Yes, it's good to build relationships with mentors, but never forget about your peers and those that are below you. Why? Because some of those people are the ones that are going to open a door for you at the workplace. If they're going to elevate you for a leadership position, much like they are going to seek feedback from those that have gone through your mentorship. Important. Personal growth. There is nothing that is actually going to happen by mistake or by accident. I'm not here to motivate you, because motivation does fade. It's not sustainable at all. It's not about you just looking for that book and reading, and you have a lot of books. You've read a lot of things, but what have you done with the books? What are some of those routines that you've created? You know, you have been in a routine for the last year and things have not worked out within that routine. What are you changing? You've heard Charity was sharing about how she's able to read books and how books have been able to change her. And you as there saying, I've struggled with books. What are you doing? What system are you putting in? Are you going for the audio books? Are you joining a book club? Are you having an accountability partner? Are you having a reading partner? Are you even just putting yourself out there to make sure that maybe instead, if at all I've failed to read the full book, can I look for the video? Can I go on to see that I can be able to find a smaller version or an audio version? I recommend a book. Okay, there's somebody sharing a message. There's a very common book called Atomic Habits by this certain gentleman right there, who shares a lot about how you can actually leverage small habits to create big results. What are some of the habits, in addition to the resolutions and whatever you want to do? What are some of those habits that you want to make sure that you commit to in this year? I just shared some here. Practicing gratitude daily. Last year, I had a coaching session with one of the coaches, and they told me about the power of gratitude every day. The reason why a lot of us have not yet moved on from the last year is because we are still holding on to what we didn't achieve last year. But do you realize that if you sit down to recount on the great things that you've been able to achieve, you'll be surprised on whatever really can come. What are some of those things that you're doing about your health that could really help you to live a healthier life? How does your morning routine look like? What are you reading? All those things are very important. And what kind of discipline are you putting? You see, even when it comes to your financial growth, whatever is going to actually elevate you as an individual is not just getting motivated because everyone is going for unit trust. Believe me, you will sign up for the unit trust, and along the journey, you'll get yourself not anywhere, because it's just about, what can I say? It's just about motivation. There's nothing that you're thinking about in terms of the discipline. And discipline also sometimes calls for accountability, making sure that you also know that, okay, I need to have somebody who can actually hold me accountable, to make sure that I'm not just following through, because ourselves, you'll get to realize that sometimes it's a struggle to actually do certain things. But when you have some accountability, when you have other people who are on the same journey, I'll give you an example. I and Charity, who is our host here, we are into a video challenge, a 30 days video challenge. And we're in a WhatsApp group of those that went through the last public speaking journey. So we started the year with video challenges. And sometimes it's a struggle to actually just even show up before a camera and share the things that you understand better than anyone. But because you're part of a community, because you're part of others that are on the same journey, there's a way you're actually going to do things in a different way. Why? Because you're taking your life in not just for trial, but you're doing things intentionally. So I hope that if there's one thing that you need to do this year, is to have habits, and habits that you're not just have in your head, but write them down and ask for accountability partners. Sometimes it could be a coach, it could be your spouse or a close friend, to hold you accountable. Sometimes you're I've been part of WhatsApp groups where they are even sharing screenshots of their works that they have done, how many steps they have been able to achieve in a day, or even their food, to make sure that they are not eating unhealthy. So all these things are very important. Whatever is going to transform you is not going to come out of be accidental. There's going to be a lot that's going to come through. Are we learning something? Can I see in the chat box what is that you're picking away from the session? Are you learning something? Okay, Alex says yes, learning something. Great. Josephine also says yes. Eliab also says yes. Great. Great, 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 great. Let those lessons keep on coming. We need to see that there is transformation that is happening, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we don't go through 2026 like any other year. Enough of finishing the year the same the way it started, or living in regrets because the year has ended and you're feeling like, I wish I did something. You know, sometimes we see a lot of people progressing and you're like, I wish I'd started with this person, or they started their course, which you felt like maybe it's not the right time for you. But before you know it, you're seeing them graduate and you're like, you just started here yesterday. And before you realize, time has passed, and you who waited for the perfect time, it never came. So quite a lot of things that you need to think about. One of the things that I would say is in this year, as you look at your success, or as you look at your journey is very personal. It's good to pick inspirations from other people, but one of the of the things that is going to help you, especially in achieving what you need to achieve this year, is understanding yourself. Is knowing that this is what I need to do as an individual when it comes to either my finances, either my career, because you've tried some of these things and they have worked out. And that's why some people say, when it comes to your last year's journey, do not just start with new things. Ask yourself, what worked well last year? What is that I can actually deploy to make sure that it works this year? Okay? And all that starts from you saying, I need to do things differently. Now, one of the things that I want to encourage you is to first change your mindset to see possibilities. Now, why I'm saying this is because a lot of the things that you're going to achieve either this year or in the next 5 years is mostly not because you're the best educated person or you're the most knowledgeable or most favored or most religious. It's going to all rotate around your mindset. And I just want to share a personal story. So when I started out sharing content online, I started when I was just leaving university. That's a time when I said I'm going to start sharing content online. And that time I was not so much knowledgeable, but I said, no matter how I may not be knowledgeable, there's somebody who is below me who needs my message. So I don't need to have that imposter syndrome or trying to say, what do those people who are ahead of me think about me? But I know that I'll start and refine myself along the journey. When you see me right now, having this confidence of being able to speak before camera, being able to speak for an hour, all that comes because I made a decision to say, enough is enough. I need to believe in myself first before anyone else believes in me. I need to have that positive mindset to know that, yes, I may not be the best, but when I start, things will work out. I don't need to have a master's before I start writing blogs, so I start to share about a given topic. I can start. And all that starts with your mindset. As you can see in the picture here, there is one mind that's going to tell you, I'll never be that smart, or this is not good enough. I'm not good enough. I think that is what quite a lot of people say. I can't share my camera. I can't share my video because my camera is not good. I need to buy an iPhone. Believe me, it will take you another 1 or 2 years to buy the iPhone. And before you know it, you're like, I'm actually better than that person who is sharing. But because the other person said, I'll start, even if it's about a business, you don't start when everything is figured out. Actually, starting small helps you understand this in a better way because you're going to get feedback, you're going to refine along the journey, and before you know it, your idea is up there. Okay? Quite important. So make sure that your mindset is really, really worked on. The other thing that I also want to leave you with is around your personal growth is your emotional intelligence. Now, we live in an era where we have a lot of mental health issues. We have a lot of things that are happening. Why some of these things are happening is because either we don't understand ourselves, either we are stretching so much than we can handle, either we are not seeing, we're not sitting back outside our day-to-day routine to reflect on what we're actually doing. So emotional intelligence is very powerful for each one of us. And this comes in knowing when to say no. Very important for me. Saying no has really greatly helped me, knowing that I can't handle. Knowing when to slow down but also understanding yourself, saying, yeah, that is good. Those investments are good, but they're not for me because I cannot do such kind of risky investments. Or I don't think that is for me. That's not an event for me. There's nothing that I'm going to get out. Or this network, or this kind of friendship, I think enough of it. It can't go anywhere. So emotional intelligence cascades down how you relate with people, understanding yourself, knowing when to say no, and to also sit back and stop and reflect before you start again, but also being able to understand others and keeping yourself, your energy all through. All these things are going to be very important, especially even as we continue through the year. Okay, great. So as I know we are getting down to the end of the session. So I want to handle the aspects of your so-called, what can I say, your financial journey. Now, quite a lot of you know me that I'm very passionate when it comes to financial growth, and especially financial growth for people who are employed. And I know we have some business people here. Why I usually speak so much to employees is because employees have a limited source of income. So as a business owner, you have an opportunity to even earn your annual revenue within a month. You can hit a good deal and things can really work out for you. But employees are earning a single source of income, most of them, which is a salary. Yes, it can be good, but I'll tell you that the fact that it's limited means that the level at which it can grow may not be commensurate to your expenses. The other thing about it is that it can stop at any point in time, which is again one of the worst things. And these days, we've come to realize that no one is actually safe. I worked in the NGO sector for about 5 years. And if somebody told you they were working for USAID, you had a lot of respect for them. Why? Because they had big paychecks, they had benefits. There was a lot that was really happening. But I want to tell you that a lot changed in just a minute by a decision. Today or yesterday, Trump put a hold to funding to over 66 additional entities, including about 30, I think about 31 or 32 UN-related entities. And even New Vision yesterday published and said over 60 NGOs in Uganda have been affected by the decision that Trump made yesterday. Now, you see, the ecosystem of NGOs does not just only end in a non-for-profit. It is the NGOs that provide business to the private sector. I mean, the professional services sector, where we offer auditing services to NGOs. We offer consultancy services to NGOs. We do capacity building for NGOs. So that already has affected us. There are people who supply goods to NGOs. It's an entire ecosystem. So no one is safe. Yes, you might actually protect your job, but the salary increment may not come at the time when you actually need it. And there's a lot that is also happening. So it's quite important for us, again, I continue to preach this, to evaluate how much is coming in, because when it comes to your personal finance, it's you're trying to look at how much money am I making? What are some of my habits around my money in terms of managing it? How am I even multiplying it? And multiplication is not just about the investing, but also you're also multiplying what is coming in. Quite a lot of people preach about saving and investment, but you can't save what you don't have. The reason why quite a lot of you do not have any savings or investments to show from the last year is because you do not have basically your income was so limited according to when you compare to your expenses. Yes, there could be those that also did not manage well what they were earning because they didn't live within their means. They also didn't plan very well. They didn't budget. You need to get to a level where you know how your money is coming in, you're managing your money, you're every day strategizing to see how can this money grow in investments, but also growing in income. Why? Because today you might be 30. I want to tell you that within a very short time, you will be 50. There's somebody who posted last year and said the 25-year-old in 2000, the 25-year-old in 2000 is now 51 years in 2026. The person who was 25 years in 2000 is now 51. They were 50 last year, but they're now 51. When you try to reflect it, you realize that time moves very fast. And that means that if you don't plan for your next 10, 20 years, there is likelihood that you'll actually struggle through. And not only struggle through financially, but you see, finances do not only affect your, let's say, your happiness or whatever. Finances get down into your social life because you have dependents. It gets down to your health. It gets down to many aspects that could affect you. So it's quite important that as an individual, one, manage your finances. Control how your money is going. If you struggle with writing down, I usually use an Excel myself where I plan for my money, but I also capture expenses as they come through to make sure that I don't look back and say it's a wasted year. I cannot try to plot and say this is where my money went. Budgeting is very important. Before you start spending, you're putting aside what you're saving. You're planning to see what is going to my needs, what is going to my wants. At the end of the day, one of the things that has worked for me when it comes to saving is automating my savings. That has worked 100% well. If you're still waiting for that money to hit and you remove it and you save it, it's not going to work out. So your financial journey is going to start with discipline, and some of the discipline is actually going to require systems and structures that we just talked about. So very important. And then I also want to say that when it comes to multiple income streams, like I said, ask yourself, what is that one thing that I have that can actually make money for me? Myself, my public speaking skills create money for me. I'm invited at different platforms to be able to share, and I'm paid. I use the same public speaking skills to train. Either I'm lecturing, accounting, or I'm training in a given course, whatever. I'm using my skills. What is that you have? If you're a good writer, are you translating that into helping people with either proposals, or you're writing books, or you're writing blogs that are able to give you an income? This year, I received my first payment from YouTube around December. As I was trying to look at my budget to see what I'm budgeting for December, I got a notification on my email that your payment has been credited. And I was wondering, oh, what could this be? And I checked, and it was my first YouTube money. Now, I jumped onto YouTube 5 years ago. Why? Because I was reading what is within the market. What are some of the trends of how things are going to, and you know what I did? The YouTube channel that gives me my money is one I'm sharing my knowledge. I'm sharing my accounting. I have a YouTube channel called Accounting Coach. I share a lot of knowledge on that. It builds my thought leadership. Students who need my services reach out to me through this platform, but YouTube is also able to pay me. YouTube for it may not be for YouTube to pay you, but it could be a platform for you to share your knowledge, your wisdom. I'll tell you that I've gotten a lot of trainings with multinational organizations. One of a company that is across East Africa reached out to me around independence and asked me to go and speak to their staff on personal finance. They told me we have our staff here in Uganda and then also staff outside, but we're going to connect them to Zoom and they're going to attend. Such opportunities are not just going to find you. People are making decisions about you in rooms you're not. And that means that you have to make sure that you're intentional when it comes to your visibility. Your financial journey is not going to just happen in isolation. Your financial journey cascades back to your professional journey. What are you doing? If yours is not about creating multiple income streams, what are you doing this year to make sure that you're growing yourself, that you attract a better pay at work? How are you showing yourself to the right people that make the decisions to make sure that when a next opportunity shows up, you are considered. They know that you're the one who deserves it. Because your income is not just going to grow through multiple income streams, but your main income, your salary, also has the potential to grow, even despite how the economy is doing. If you're so good at what you do, somebody will be willing to pay you an extra income. People are getting jobs. No matter how limited the jobs might be, people are still getting jobs. So building your income is very important. As I conclude, when it comes to your money this year, one, budgeting. Ensure you don't just spend randomly and think you're going to remain with something. Much likely, our needs are so much out there that we cannot easily control how fast they can grow, but we can control money. Save and invest. Many professionals are because you're so busy, you're taken up in schemes that take your money. Go for what you think you understand, regulate it, but also make sure that wherever you put in your money, you're not just following bandwagon. You understand where you're putting your money. If it's a unit trust, you'll understand that, yes, this is the interest that I'm going to get from this unit trust. If you can start a business, start one. I'll tell you that the easiest business that you're going to start in this era and age is the business of you as an individual. And that means you're going to sell your skills. You're going to offer consultancy. I'm a consultant. You're going to offer yourself to others and they're going to pay you. And all this is going to be made possible by your visibility, by making sure you're showing up, by making sure you're building the relationships, because it is all around. It doesn't happen in isolation. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you so much for listening to me. And this is what I want to end with, 3 words that I want to take away from here. 1, clarity. Know what you want. And knowing what you want means that you're going to reflect, write down, and plan accordingly. 2, capacity. Build your capacity. And capacity is around building your skills and also putting the right systems in place to say, I can't post every day, but I'm going to leverage technology. I'm going to schedule my posts and they will show up at any time, even when I'm busy at my work. The other I also want to ask you is consistency. Do not just start things in January. Be consistent through. I know it's not going to be easy, but you have to endure. And that calls for discipline. That calls for accountability. And it calls for the mindset that is growth-oriented, to know that I'm not just doing this for today. I'm doing this for me and for the generations to come. I'll tell you, once you get to a level where you have transformed your life. You will not be shaken by a job loss. You will not be shaken by going into retirement. You will not be shaken by anything because you are in charge of yourself. So thank you so much for listening to me. And I hope that you've learned one or two things. I want to hand over back to Charity. Charity, we can't seem to hear you. You're on mute. Okay, as Charity joins us again, please share what is one thing that you've been able to learn from the session. What is your takeaway? What are you going to do? Let's share within the chat box and see how we're going to relate ourselves when it comes to the new year. You can also ask questions. I'm going to handle some questions as Charity, are you there? Could you unmute?
Beautiful. You have unmuted me now. I think I did have the right to unmute.
Okay,
Thank you so much, Coach. This has been very powerful. In case you have a question, kindly put up your hand. Let's share those questions in the chat as well. But as we go on, allow me to go through some of what people are learning. Kobel says we are having an accountability partner. Winnie is saying discipline. Miria Chiviriga is saying create small habits that are consistent. Vanessa is saying, yes, I've got something and thank you. Kenneth Kugonda says, yes, we need to be intentional. Need to be intentional and serious about how we live and see things. Patricia Adong says, yes, motivation feds, but discipline sustains. Beautifully said. Dennis Nwagawa, who also happens to be a coach that we had recently in the boot camp, nice to have you, Dennis, says like the accountability partners, to stay on track on our goals. Thank you, Dennis. Josephine now Kenya says motivation feds, but discipline sustains. Refine your network. That's Alex Saka. Naigaga Juliet, one of our very own in the public speaking mentorship program. She says, yes, my skills, my power source for professional elevation. Beautiful. And earning. Building my connections should be the objective. Okay, Lokwang Oscars. Okay, so I think I answered it. Dennis Nogab again says setting clear goals and consistency. Beautiful. Winnie, understanding myself is key. Indeed, part of emotional intelligence, self-awareness. These are very powerful lessons we have all learned. Kobel again says setting healthy boundaries is key. Nothing is indispensable. I use an expense tracker. Kindly share with us what that tracker is. We'd like to also get it. Maybe it will help us this year. And as Manjari is summarizing for us, clarity, capacity, consistency. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I keep seeing them here. Thank you, just thanking you. Thank you so much, Coach Samuel. This was wonderful and timely. For me, consistency is key. A wonder session, indeed, Coach. Consistency, such powerful and insightful message. Thank you, Coach. My take home is visibility. Beautiful. We're still getting more. Key to build our brand and build networks. We need to really refine our networks. Beautiful. Thank you, Coach Dennis. Be visible and build a professional brand. Refine on how you network. That is very important. Whom are you networking with? You can't fly with chicken and you become an eat an ego. Sometimes you also have to refine. Maria Chivirige says, my takeaway is my growth is my responsibility. I need to build my discipline in every aspect of my life. Beautiful. Write those disciplines down and then begin to focus on them. There is power in focus. Sharon Navaka, one of our very own in the mentorship program, says accountability partners, consistency, creating habits that won't leave us the same. Beautiful. And I must testify for her that she's part of that mentorship and has been consistently sharing a video in a 30-day video challenge. And so we thank you for that consistency. Ruth Nabudua says, thanks, Coach Samuel, for the presentation. My takeaway is being intentional when it comes to visibility. Beautiful. Charlotte Aturinda, one of our very own as well from the mentorship program for public speaking, says, Coach Samuel, I've learned that I need to set healthy boundaries for my mental health. Know when to say no. You guys are so bright, man. This audience, I love. Josephine Nabudia says, to build my professional brand this year. Of course, it has to be intentional. Dorothy Natkunda, consistency and networking. Charity Nishiti, one of our very own public speaking and mentorship program as well, is saying visibility will take us places. Josephine Nabo Kenya says, when you find yourself in a room full of opportunities for yourself, add value however little it may be. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I like what I'm hearing. I would still like to hear questions. Beautiful, I'm seeing a question here, but before Coach comes for it, I also want to give my insight. During this boot camp that we had recently, I learned some interesting lessons that I feel also Coach hinted on. Many of us can be busy, but what are you busy doing? You can be busy doing nothing. Sit down and ask yourself, what are my priorities in life? What are those things that are deal breakers? For example, if it is just a charity, maybe it is my health, maybe family, and create an orderly system weekly and say, this time is for my spiritual life. This time is for, my reading of a book. This time is for family. This time, so that at the end of it all, because if you don't have a systematic and routine of how you look at things, what happens that when these other distractions come up your way, they take up that time. And remember, as we say, time is really money. That's when you see someone ending the and asking themselves, what did I actually do? The week has ended, but I seem not to have done anything. So I encourage you, sit down, do reflection as you begin the year, and ask yourself, what is that one thing I need to focus on this year? Or one or two or three, that you feel that once you achieve them, they'll then take you to your next level. I also saw something on LinkedIn today, a very interesting video. I saw it was saying that not everything that you have to go for. So there were these three birds who are going into the water, and then the chicken began to follow. So as it was following and it was going into the middle, it had to turn back. The question is, what do you want? Not everything that is a trend, that is fancy, is meant for you. Ask yourself those deep questions. Ask yourself questions like, is it really for me? Do I have the skill, self-awareness, self-regulation? Leaders are readers, and readers are also leaders. So I encourage you, as well, what we have heard from Coach Samuel, let us be able to take up and be able to, use them for what we're going into this year as we start the year. So I see a question here. I see two of them, Coach. One is from Moses Toleko. He says, thank you, Coach, for sharing. It says, thank you, Coach, for sharing based on your personal experience. What piece of advice